Hi, my name is Brennan Sim with EB-5 United, and today we're going to walk through the PowerPoint presentation of EB-5 United's Yellowstone Club Phase 2 project. Let's go ahead and dive right in. We'll be walking through the Yellowstone Club Phase 2 project. This is the second EB-5 project here in the Yellowstone Club Village core, which you can see is right in the center location at the bottom of all the ski slopes here in the Yellowstone Club, and right next to Lone Peak, which is the second largest public ski resort in America. And combined, it's the largest ski area in all of North America. This is the fourth EB-5 project in this area with the same developer. And again, the second one in the Yellowstone Club Village core. This project does qualify for rural set-aside visas and priority processing. So most investors in our rural projects have been receiving approvals in around 6 months. This project just received its first 6 I-526E approvals here at the end of June of 2024. So we're really excited to announce that. We received the I-956F approval back at the end of April. And in this project, we are a first position lender and utilizing all of the rural benefits in the EB-5 program. Here you can see our 956F was approved back on April 30th. And again, we received the first 6 I-526E approvals here right at the end of June. Today is June 27th of 2024 as I'm recording this. Here you can see the phase 1 EB-5 project, which has already been completed, investors approved and repaid. And then the second phase of the Yellowstone Club Village Core project. So these 3 buildings are the project that we are currently funding, and those are currently being constructed. The yellow buildings are already completed. That was the first Yellowstone Club project. They sold all 48 residences in that project for more than $400 million. We'll go through those numbers a bit more, but they're reselling for about double what they sold for back in 2019. This is the Warren Miller Lodge, and it's right there at the bottom of the main ski slope here at the Yellowstone Club, which is a private ski resort, the only one like it in the entire world. And we'll go through the club in a little bit further detail here in just a minute. Here you can see the club in the summertime. This was taken over a year ago, so there was less construction going on, but you can see the site there, right there in the village core. And now we have a lot of updated videos and photos to share with you. And so please follow along with us, and we'll continuously update those videos as we travel to Big Sky every month or two. And in this project, there will be the 3 new buildings that I showed you on the earlier slide that will have 35 residences that are selling for $1.26 billion. And then there will also be ice skating, a new family pool, the new gondola, food trucks, a bar, and some ski locker rooms that will be added here. And this will be kind of rounding out the Yellowstone Club. It's the last project there in the village core, and will be 35 of the last 50 or so homes built at the Yellowstone Club and available for memberships. This is where the project is located. It is about an hour drive from Bozeman, Montana. So you can fly into Bozeman from all these different cities. There's also 2 large private jet hangars owned by the Yellowstone Club at the Bozeman Airport. And so that's where most Yellowstone Club members will fly in on their private jets, and then they'll take a helicopter down to the Yellowstone Club, which is a quick 10-15 minute ride versus a 50-minute to hour drive. And we'll go through some of the past projects and all of the details of this project as we move through the PowerPoint. This is a great slide because it really shows you everything that's been completed there at the Yellowstone Club. So our developer, Cross Harbor Capital Partners, now owns over 90% of the developable land here in Big Sky, Montana. They started purchasing all of this land up back in 2009, and they have since developed and sold well over $10 billion of real estate here in the Big Sky area. And in that time, they have done this off of a purchase that they made of around $500 million for the Yellowstone Club and all of the other land around here. So it's been a very successful venture for them. They have not only developed these 4 EB-5 projects, but also a multitude of other projects in the area. So homes all throughout the Yellowstone Club, all throughout the Spanish Peaks, which has its own club and its own golf course. The Yellowstone Club has a golf course, a lot of great summer activities as well as winter activities. They've developed most of Moonlight Basin, and then the town center, where they've put in some lower income housing for people that are working at all the clubs. They also have just revitalized the town center, new restaurants, bars, lots of things going on down there. And they've put in new medical facilities, new fire departments, They've built a ton here in Big Sky, Montana. And again, they essentially own the entire town. And so this has been a huge successful track record that they have had over the past 15 years. And essentially we are finishing the Yellowstone Club for them with this YC Phase 2 project. You can see the first EB-5 project in this area was the YC Phase 1 project that was completed and repaid in February of 2020. The Montage project, EB-5 United raised that money throughout 2019 and 2020, and that repaid back in September of 2023. We have raised $173.6 million on the One and Only project. This was the project we were funding last year, which was a post-RIA project. We have had well over 100 I-526E approvals on the One and Only project, thanks to the priority processing benefit that you receive in a rural TEA filing. And in that, those have been approved in an average of around 6 months, but we have had approvals in 29 days, 30 days, 31 days, 36 days. We've had a few dozen that were below 60 days. We even had one green card that was issued 4 months after the date of filing, so that the investor filed November 9th and then had their green card issued on February 9th of 2024. So we've had a lot of success in the Big Sky area with Cross Harbor, and Cross Harbor's had a lot of success with both EB-5 projects and without EB-5 projects. Every project here in the last 15 years has been successful. Here is one of the construction update videos. You can continue to monitor those. We just are about to put out one for June, and then Duncan and I will be back up in Big Sky in July, and we'll film another update video. This is a video with Bill Collins, who's the head of sales for the residences at the Yellowstone Club. He gives a great synopsis. He's great to listen to kind of understand the nuances of these buyers for these homes. Let's talk a little more about what the Yellowstone Club is. So the Yellowstone Club is the world's only private ski and golf community. So it's its own ski resort. It's connected to the public ski resort. So if you include both of those, it's the largest ski area in North America. The homes here average over $15 million per home. And if you look at the sales just since 2020, they've sold about $5 billion of real estate just in the Yellowstone Club. This club started back in 1996, and it essentially will be completed with the end of the YC Phase 2 project. That will be 35 of the final homes. There will only be 914 homes ever built in the Yellowstone Club, and you have to purchase a home to become a member. From there, you then have to put $500,000 up to actually join the club. And from the time of the Yellowstone Club Phase 1 project until now, back when YC Phase 1 was selling its units in 2019, they were selling for about $2,650 a foot. Those units are now reselling for over $5,000 a foot, and usually within a few weeks of being put onto the market. And so you can see how much the values have increased over time. And now the club is essentially a playground for billionaires and celebrities. So you have some of the wealthiest members in the entire world here at the club. So to maintain your membership, like I mentioned, you have to first purchase a home, which the average price is around $15 million for a home in the Yellowstone Club. Then you have to pay a $500,000 initiation fee, and it's usually around $120,000 a year to keep your membership, but that just depends on the size of your lot and your home, and it varies up and down in price. Again, there's 914 total memberships. Currently, there's 867 members, so this is 35 of those remaining membership spots that will be these residences at the Yellowstone Club Phase 2 project. Here you can see a map, and you see the village core right in the center of everything. You see Lone Peak up here, that's the public ski resort. This is all ski area in Yellowstone Club. Also over here on the Eglise Mountain, you have the golf course up here. That's the Yellowstone Club golf course. There's another one in Spanish Peaks and another in Moonlight Basin, and a lot of different amenities here in the area for both the summer and the winter. Here you can see all the skiable acres. There's over 3,400 at Yellowstone Club, and it's actually about to increase because the Yellowstone Club did a land swap and purchased more skiable land adjacent to the current ski area. And then the Big Sky Ski Resort is almost 6,000 skiable acres. So combined, it is 9,250 skiable acres. This is a great podcast for people who want to get a better understanding of the club and how it was developed, especially since 2009. So Sam Byrne is the CEO of Cross Harbor Capital Partners, who is our developer on this project. They're the ones putting up about $600 million of equity into the project to help get this completed, while we're only putting a $400 million senior loan that we'll go through here in just a second. They're a Boston-based company. They have an office here out in Big Sky. In the last 30 years, they've done over $30 billion of real estate development, and they have almost $10 billion under management currently. And then Discovery Land, what their involvement in the club is they essentially are the operator. They run the club. So Discovery, I suggest you go check out their website, and you'll see a ton of amazing resorts all around the world. Now, the Yellowstone Club is not like a Montage Hotel or a Hilton Hotel or a Marriott. It's not a hotel brand, or there's not anyone running the club. So that's why Discovery Land Company came in, and they essentially are the operator and create all of the systems, just like a hotel flag would for another hotel that is being operated. So I'd highly recommend you check out Discovery Land Company, as well as the podcast from the last slide on Sam Byrne. Let's get into the unit sales. There are 35 units being sold here at the YC Phase 2 project. And so let's go through who the target market really is. If you watch the video with Bill, you'll get a better explanation on this. But they've sold 17 of the 35 residences for $538 million. We expect to sell all of the residences for a total of $1.26 billion. Now, there's 2 more right now that are going under contract, so they should be at about 19 sold here pretty soon. We started the year with 16 sold. The goal was to sell 3 or 4 units this year. So once those come through, that reaches the goal for 2024. Now, the project will be completed around the end of 26 and homes delivered in 27. And so at this point, they just want to slowly bring these homes into the market, slowly get them sold so that they can maximize the price points as we get closer to the delivery date. Now, these home buyers are putting up 40% deposits. So if you're putting up a 40% deposit on a $35 million home, that's about $14 million that you have to put up for the next 2.5 years while these homes are being completed. And so in high interest rate environments, that's difficult to get people to wrap their heads around. And so you want to release these slowly over the next couple of years as we get to the completion date, so you can maximize the price point that you can sell them at. Now, a lot of these homes are being sold to existing members as well. Membership can only be passed down to one family member. And so people have multiple kids, they'll buy multiple homes so they can pass it down to another. There are also, quite a few billionaires there that have homes up on the hill that are, these huge mansions. But then when they're down in the village core, they don't want to drive back home at night. They'll just buy a condo down in the center so they have a place in the village core to hang out. They also, maybe if you're just hitting the ski slopes for the day, you come down the mountain, you just want to have a place down there to hang out. So it's selling to a lot of the same types of members. It's a very elite group. Most members there are billionaires or celebrities, like we've mentioned. And so sales are going very well, and we expect that to continue. Moving on to the capital stack. This project is nearly $1 billion project, and we are lending $400 million of EB-5 capital into the project. Today is June 27th of 2024. We started this raise in August of 2023. So in 10 months, we have had over 300 investors sign up for this project and more than 200 investors wire money into this. This is a 30-month raise. And so in the first 10 months, we have more than half of the investors signed up and almost half of the investors wired into the project. The $400 million loan will be in a first position. And so if there is a default on this loan, we have first rights to take over the project on behalf of the EB-5 investors. So how this works, when you have senior debt, it's kind of like a mortgage on a home, right? If you go to a bank and you put 20% of the money down, the bank loans you 80% of the money, you buy the home. If you don't pay your mortgage, the bank will foreclose on your house and take the house so that they can recover their 80%. Now, the more equity you put in as a home buyer, the safer it is for the bank. This project is like the developer being the home buyer and the EB-5 loan being the bank. And the developer is putting 60% of the money in rather than 20% on a conventional mortgage, right? So that means that if we take over this project, as long as we can salvage $400 million out of the $1 billion construction spend, then we would recover all of the money for the EB-5 investors. It also means that the project would essentially need to be worth $0 for the investors to lose all of their money in this project. As you move up the capital stack, you can see on the left, the other types of debt you get into are mezzanine debt, where you are a second position lender behind a senior lender. So the senior lender gets repaid first, and then then it goes to preferred equity, where you'll have a preferred return and then maybe a piece of the equity in the end of the deal, and then common equity, which is where the developers are going to be. And they're taking the most risk, but they would get the most return out of that project. If you're looking into equity, if the project loses money at all, you're probably going to lose some of your $800,000. But as you get into the debt, especially senior debt, you can look here and you realize this developer would have to lose almost $600 million before the EB-5 investors are financially impacted. And how will we pay this back? Well, the money from the home sales has to be utilized to pay back the EB-5 loan per the agreement that we made. And so about $360 million of the buyer deposits from the sales are allowed to be used on the project. So that's what they're expecting to use, is almost $360 million of buyer deposits on the project. So if we take the total sales and we subtract that 360 that's used on the construction, that leaves us $900 million in sales to pay off a $400 million EB-5 loan. To date, we have $538 million of sales, but we expect to fully realize the $1.26 billion by the end of 2026. So this leaves us $900 million to pay off a $400 million EB-5 loan. And like I mentioned before, the numbers from there, or the money from those sales, has to be utilized to pay off the EB-5 loan. In this loan, the loan term starts in 3 days on June 30th of 2024. It's a 3-year loan with 4 one-year extensions. Now, we do anticipate that this loan will be paid off more in the 3 to 4 year time frame from now. The reason why is because we expect for construction to complete around the end of 2026, and then they will be finishing the interiors of the residences and delivering the residences to the buyers throughout 2027, at which point the sales money from those sales has to be utilized to pay back the EB-5 loan. And so that would put us in a time frame of sometime in 2027 or 2028 where we would see a repayment. In this project, we need 5,000 jobs for all 500 investors. We actually just received a new update where we had, this was at the end of April, beginning of May, 1,975 jobs created. At the end of May, beginning of June, we had 2,149 jobs created, so almost 200 more created in the month of May 2024. And we should be receiving the June updates here in the next 3 days. So we're inching toward that 2,500 job creation number and almost halfway there. In the end, we expect to have 8,610 jobs created in this project, which is about 3,600 more than needed for all investors to have 10 jobs and obtain a green card. Here you can see lots of different articles about the club in major publications. And here's a few photos of the beautiful landscape. The golf club is unreal. One of the most amazing places for a restaurant in the golf club right there. The views are just incredible. So to wrap this up, in the YC Phase 2 project, the strongest selling point here is that, one, it's rural, so it has set-aside visas, and it has priority processing. And 2, it's a first position loan at only 41% loan to cost. So the developer would have to take a significant loss before the EB-5 investors were to lose a single dollar. And then we always have an I-526E denial guarantee in our project that's backed by a fund with Yellowstone Club Holdings that has over $700 million on its balance sheet. That fund also backs this project. And so it provides a lot of safety for our investors, and of course, a construction completion guarantee. And as you see the new construction update videos, there's a ton of progress going on at the site, and the place looks great. Thanks for watching this presentation on the Yellowstone Club Phase 2 project. If you'd like more information, please contact us at EB-5 United.